Lewmar Evo winch. Sales and design features from the top. For the last 2 generations, Lewmar winches have needed no tools to strip and service. You just simply twist off by hand the top cap, and then the whole winch can be taken apart piece by piece. First sales and design feature is the one-piece investment cast stainless steel feeder arm of strong construction. You have arrows moulded in to show the user instantly which way to wrap the rope. Then you have the tailing jaws. These are sprung loaded to accept different sizes of rope. Moulded into them is another safety feature to tell the customer that they have to put a minimum of 3 turns on the drum. You'll see on the drum you have stainless steel cage rollers supporting its full width. Then down to the centre stem, the base. The base is made of investment cast high tensile bronze. Because of the skeletal construction, it needs to be made of a very high duty alloy. Then we come to the gears, the ratchet gear and the pull gear. These are made of forged bronze. Then these are precision machined in our workshop. Forged bronze closed gears represent there again very strong construction. Coming down to the base is bolted down by 2 methods, either by countersunk screws from the top, or studs can be threaded into the bottom and then fed through the deck, therefore allowing the fitter to fit these single-handed. The construction of this winch gives us confidence to warranty the whole winch for 7 years. This is a standard ocean winch. This is a size 44/46. I'm going to just run through very quickly how to strip and service the winch. Now, first of all, we just take off by hand the top cap. If it has been on for a while and it's a little bit tight, you just get a little soft peg and give that a tap off. Next, we'll remove the feeder arm. Then the 2 collets that retain the central spindle. Remove the central spindle. Then we can remove the drum. And then the 2 bearings and the spacer. Sometimes when the bearings have been in here, the grease holds them, and when you pull the drum off, they can then drop out afterwards. Just watch this as you're taking the drum off. 2 bearings, spacer and thrust washer. Then we can just simply remove the pins that retain the ratchet and pull gears. As you take them out, you'll notice that these are of different diameters, therefore you cannot get the wrong gears in the wrong slots. I take out the ratchet gear. I can then take this apart. Be careful as you're taking it apart. Just hold the pulls as you're taking it out. That will stop them springing apart and possibility of losing them. Same goes for the pull gear. As you're easing that apart, you'll see the pulls. You can hold these. Okay, the whole lot is then taken apart. Cleaning white spirit, and as you're putting the gears back in, the winch back together, use some winch grease and a brush. All these accessories are available in one kit, and then basically paint grease all over the gears inside as you're reconstructing it. Now, when it comes to putting the ratchet and pull gears together, inside paint some grease around the bearing surfaces, but on the pulls just give a squirt of a light machine oil, race lube. Put them back together. The same here. You'll notice all the insides of the gears have got plastic sleeves. These can be replaced. Grease around the gears, but machine oil on the pulls. You cannot put these gears back in the wrong way, they just won't fit and mesh together. and also the spindles won't fit. So fit these together. And this one up. Now the gears back together. Thrust washer. One bearing. There again, paint grease on as you're going. Spacer, top bearing, the grease on. Then the central spindle. Put that round so everything fits. Then clean the drum, clean the gears out in the drum, paint grease round, and on goes the drum. When you're fitting the collets to retain the main spindle, you fit them in the little grooves inside and then just lift the central spindle just a little bit so that you can put them in. Everything's nearly there then. Then you add the feeder arm. The feeder arm can be rotated 360 according to where you want the rope to feed into. And then the stripper ring, which fits inside, that strips the rope off the jaw, then fits into the dog inside the feeder arm. Locate that there. Give the top cap. The top cap's got a little bit of an O-ring in it. You've got a little bit of grease, and spin that back on again. If you have the later generation of winch, the Evo is basically the same construction inside. The drum has been slightly taken down in height just to give it a lower profile, and the feeder arm is a one-piece stainless steel. But everything comes apart in very much the same way. Once you've taken that apart, everything inside is just the same. Very simple and easy to service. Okay, well, we've now seen how simple it is to service and strip down the Lewmar winch, and the construction inside. It's tried and tested. We're very confident that we make one of the strongest winches on the market. We always have competitors, and those competitors are majorly these guys. They've just brought out the new Harken radial. This is a cost engineered winch. I'm now going to strip it down and let you compare for yourselves the differences in construction. First of all, we straight into using tools to strip the top down. Now this is like a thin plastic top that holds the feeder arm down, and then we just back the screws off for the feeder arm, twist it and remove it. As you'll see, the feeder arm is a thin stamping. Ours is a thickly constructed investment cast stainless steel. This is where, if the rope drums are not wrapped, a lot of pressure goes onto these feeder arms, and we've found in the field that people complain that a lot of these just get bent and distorted and you can't use the winch. Then we have a plastic spacer which lives in the middle here. Another piece. And then we can remove the drum. Inside you'll see that the bearings are cage rollers, but they're plastic cage rollers. There's a spacer in between. Then we can remove the center stem, which is a square drive from under here. That's another part of the drive. This is our central spindle, made of high tensile stainless steel. I don't know what this is made of. Then we have more bolts to remove the top of the center stem, which is a cast aluminium Okay, then we can remove that to reveal the gears underneath. And you'll see the gears here are not solid forged construction. They look like they've been machined from a tube, which is nowhere near as strong as a solid backed forged construction. Likewise here we have a hollow gear. And then what we're left with is the bottom of the base and also a plastic skirt. This is removed to allow mounting bolts to be fitted. We've found that if a rope slips down off the drum and becomes trapped around this plastic skirt, it can cause it damage, whereas all our skirts are solid aluminium. I'm not really looking forward to putting this back together. This is a Lewmar Evo 50 electric winch on a display unit. I'm going to talk you through some of the mechanical and electrical installation just to make you more familiar with the product. This is a fully working sample. I'm just going to break down how we easily convert the winch. Right, this is how we mechanically convert the winch. If you buy a whole kit and start from scratch, well, you'll get the whole winch, the motor gearbox, and all the electrical parts in under one part number. If you are converting an already existing manual winch like this, you simply remove the drum and the centre stem, and then you're ready to start. So when you buy the conversion kit, you will get this, which is an electric centre stem. This is then screwed to a base unit, and the pull gear is replaced by a driven pull gear. That simply is then connected to the motor underneath and drives all the way up to the centre stem and to the drum. And then when a winch handle is inserted, you can simply just drive the winch mechanically under the 2 speeds. When you lift the conversion unit off, you'll then see that once you've bolted a flange to the conversion unit, you then simply bolt your motor gearbox up with 4 bolts, and then you're ready to connect it up electrically. Right, now we get round to wiring the winch in. The power cable's coming in from the battery. This goes to a simple, what we call an E-series contactor, just a simple contactor. We do have separate part numbers for these motor gearboxes that actually has the contactor attached, see in the catalogue. Now this is just a simple contactor. It powers the all the winches from 40 to up to 55. 55 and above, they need a more sensitive control, so we fit the ELS control box. This has got an inbuilt trip in it, so if the load becomes too great for the winch, it'll trip out and then reset. These control boxes can be fitted to the 40 up to the 55, but they are standard above the 55. So back to the contactor, and when we look closely at the contactor, then we've got a power wire coming from there that powers the switch, and then we've got the 2 white switch leads that come in and apply power to the contactor. So the power wire comes back down through a small inline fuse unit, and then it goes to these yellow wires which go into the back of the motor. These yellow wires connect to a thermal trip within inside the motor. So if with the E-series contactor, if there is an overload, electrical overload, this will then trip the motor out to save damage in the motor. This is not a fan assisted motor, so it needs this trip. So then from the power wire we go through the switch and back into the solenoid. Going down to the motor, we've got 3 terminals here. This is a common motor to our windlasses and winches. So with the winch it's only turning one way. We have the common terminal to the A2 and the power wire to the D2. If you connect it to the wrong one, D1, the motor will turn but the winch won't turn. The ratchet gear will just click click click. That will tell you that you've wired the motor in the wrong way. You can wire this the wire to this pole if you have a problem fitting the winch, and you have to reverse the attitude of the motor. Then you can connect to this terminal and it'll turn the right way. That's the wiring.